What will happen to resale homes if the interest rates continue to rise? Interest rates are already well above 5%, really around 6%. Very likely it'll be at 7 by the end of this year or close to it. That affects the monthly payment of a home purchase quite a bit. For example, consider a home that was $350,000 in 2020. If you finance that house, even if you financed the whole thing, let's say the mortgage was $350, your payment would be about $1,400 at 2.5, 2.6%. Fast forward 2 years later, that home now is probably going to be $400,000, maybe a little bit more. Your interest rate's going to be well over 5, so now your payment's going to be maybe $2,100. That's $700 more. That's like a 50% increase in your monthly payment. What is that going to do for the resale market? Well, will it lower the price? Probably not. The reason why not is because there's still a large number of buyers on the sidelines that were not able to purchase a home during the frenzy of 2021 into 2022. Those buyers still want to get a house. Now, the only thing that's going to change is there'll be more availability. Most buyers in 2020 and 21 did not fail their purchase because they gave up on the price. Most buyers that were not able to buy a house in the last 2 years, it wasn't voluntary. They would have paid the price if they could. What happened is they put bids on house and they lost bids. Maybe because many of the other buyers were cash buyers. Maybe because there just wasn't enough house inventory to go around. It's like musical chairs. When the music stops, everybody's struggling to find a seat, and there weren't enough to go around. Fast forward to 2022 and 2023. Now, there will be houses available. There will be more inventory. Those same people who would have bought a house back then, maybe at a $1,500 or $1,600 mortgage payment, now they see, well, it's going to be $2,100, $2,200, but I'm going to do it anyways because they want a house. They're not going to miss out again. They're not going to wait for the price to go down or the interest rate to go down. It's all psychology. These are people who have been watching the market for a while. The factor of a price of the house is only one of the reasons why they didn't get a house before. Part of it's because there was no inventory, or houses they did try to buy, somebody swooped in and out from under them. Now that there's inventory, they're going to buy. And until the vast majority of people in the marketplace, the pent-up demand, gets into a home that they own, the prices aren't going to come down. They may not go up anymore. And when you see a price reduction on Zillow, it's a price reduction from an inflated price, not from a 2019 price. I'll give you an example. A house that sold for $350 in 2019 may have ratcheted up to $400, $420, $440, $450. Maybe in January or February, that seller said, well, the last house like that sold for $440. Let me take a shot at $450 or $460. Let me take a shot at a little higher. Now the house sits on the market for 2, maybe 3 months. Now it's May or June, and it's not selling at $450 or $460. So now they do a price cut. Now they cut it down to $440. You see what happened there? The price actually didn't go down from the peak. It just didn't go up anymore. Maybe even it goes down to $430. But that's still above the 2021 price. It's a plateau. It's not a dip. At the same time, those buyers who were out there getting mortgages and couldn't buy a house because everybody was paying cash, now they have some breathing room. Mortgage buyers or buyers that want a contingency. That will be the accommodation for the market. Mortgage contingency or inspection contingency. That will be the discount. It won't be too much of a price drop. Tell us what you think in the comments. Are you seeing this in your market? Are you seeing more inventory? Are the prices going down not below the inflated shoot for the moon price, but are they going down below the 2021 price? I don't think so in too many places. They're definitely not going down below the 2020 price. They're not going back to 2019 really anywhere, even with higher interest rates. The median house, $416,000 currently. The difference in payment on a mortgage is about $600 a month in the interest rate from 2.5 to, let's say, 5.5, $600-700. That's a lot of money on that mortgage. That's a good percentage. But it's not going to be a deal breaker for most buyers, for many buyers. And even if it is a deal breaker for some buyers, there's still enough leftover buyers who want to pay both the higher price for the house and the higher mortgage to absorb the inventory. There's enough buyers out there. It just may be that the sales rate, the travel rate for those vehicles, for those properties, are more in line with historical. There might be 45-day supply, 60-day supply rather than 2-week supply. Or it might be 6 months supply. But the houses will still get sold at that level. Now, how long is this going to go for? This may go for another year, year and a half. What happens in 2023 or 24? At that point, all bets are off, because the future of the economy could go either way. We could slip into a pretty serious recession/depression if there's major layoffs or large economic crisis. It's very unlikely the government has any more gas in the tank to do stimulus or other incentives for consumers. Most of that's already been used up for the pandemic. They're probably not going to be able to dip back into the bag to do too much more. Yeah, there might be a one-time stimulus, but there's not going to be a vast array of incentives. What's the proof of that? Well, look how hard it is even to give $10,000 in student loan cancellations. Right? They've been talking about that for 2 years. And even now, kicking and screaming, $10,000 seems like it's going to be hard to do. They did a trial balloon of that a week or two ago, but then they denied it. So if it's hard to give a student loan debt cancellation of $10,000, how are they going to have hundreds of billions or trillions of dollars to give out for stimulus if there's a major dip in the economy? Doesn't seem likely. We will know when real estate is poised for a true decline in price when 3 things happen. When there's capitulation in the market, meaning that sellers are just selling for anything because they can no longer afford their homes, vast majority of them. We'll also see it when you have the government stepping in to try to prop up the mortgage business. Right now, the government's talking about selling mortgage-backed securities. They're talking about getting out of the mortgage business. If you see them jumping back in to try to prop it up, that's when you know there's a problem with the real estate market. When you have the federal government talking about exiting the mortgage business, removing support, that tells me that they're not worried about the real estate market declining or people having problems paying their mortgage. Tell us what you think. If you're in the mortgage business, the real estate business, tell us your thoughts on this. Put them in the comments below. We'd love to hear them.